Hello everybody. Right now we're looking at a chart for Bank of America, and I currently have a 33.5 put for Bank of America because of the fact that that is an area it could revisit down here pretty low. Um, I think I paid about 8 cents for it, but like I said, I have a 33.5 put, so I'm not 100% expecting it to go to all the way to 33, but I do have it at 33.5. We are seeing some support, though honestly at 34.2. So right now, there's a possibility it may continue down as it's having problems trying to get back up to that 34.5, but that doesn't mean that it can't go up there and retest that area and break through and go back to possibly a 34.7 position all the way to 35.39 by the end of the week or in a couple of days. Of course, we have a short week rather, due to the fact that we had a holiday on yesterday. Um, for what I can see, looking at both of my charts, this is saying long. However, how I see it is, I think it should have given me a short signal by now. I've been going in trying to change settings and what have you, but there are different levels saying 34.5 and 34.45, which isn't too far away. And then we have a 34.37 and 34.45 there. So I think this one is giving me more of a range in between the possibility of what it's going to do. And then one must wonder, is this going to be ranging? Because it's clearly in some form of a consolidation to me at this point. So, as a disclaimer, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you what positions to play. I'm just giving you my opinion regarding Bank of America and any other options or stocks or crypto that I may trade. But for right now, we are doing an analysis, in my opinion, on the movement of Bank of America. I'm going to go in here again and see, can I change some of these properties, which is something that I do often to try to get the best analysis to help me with my trades. You know, um, None of those things have I created. I've gotten them through open source software. So, I'm not going to take any credit for anything you see on my screen. The only thing I will take any type of credit for it is my parameters that I decide to use. But as far as me creating the platform for this to be this or not that, that's not the case. I have just gotten an alert there's a possible breakdown on Bank of America, and we shall see. Again, it is having a little bit problem getting up to basically that 34.48, that 34.5. So we're going to see if it's going to try to go back and retest this 34.3. And as you can see, I have loading problems over here, probably because of all the studies that I have. But nonetheless, I am using those various time frames because I'm really more of a um, day trader, but I don't have a cash account, so I can't do multiple trades without pattern day trading. 3 day trades and you're done. So I'm trying to be patient to determine whether or not I want to cut a trade or not. Somebody else probably would have by now, because of the percentage that was made from the trade earlier. Like I said, I have a 33.5 and it did go all the way up to 16. I bought it at 8, so that was a 50% gain. And somebody would have been like, hey, it is what it is. However, I honestly perceive that it could get to this, but I don't know. Um, but that is essentially the price of a 33.5 put for Bank of America. And who knows, it could hit that mark tomorrow and trade on down. I don't really see too much um, play here, but let me just see how low has it gone in the past 10 days. We've been in the new year for about 17 days, so um, essentially one doesn't know. We don't also know how long it's going to take for my screen to load. And I'm just going to keep here how it's showing up on the live stream um, right now. So yeah, I'm having trouble getting my screen to pop up. I normally have to just go to another um, stock and then go back to where I really want to go. But since we're here, maybe Morgan Stanley will pop up. Now there are a lot of people in the um, where is it? I'm in the 90 um, put for Morgan Stanley, and of course, you guys, you know this is a long tail trade. It could possibly just go to 95 and then get support there, and then go on back up and keep running. The low was 95, of course, and the high was 98. But we know in the pre-market that it was a little bit lower. Um, let's see here. It was 91.98 in the pre-market. And actually another area it was really at 88.2. So I want to say that was the high in the pre-market, 91.98, and this was the low. And so you have a lot of people who are actually getting an 89 put as well. About let's see, 1,200 people. And then you have some of this, I guess, thinking that it's gonna, knock that out and go to 87 and knock that out and possibly go to 80. But I mean, some of these numbers, in my opinion, are very far reaching in that they are very extremely low, like a 60 strike at 15,000 people, 65 strike at 13,000, 70 strike at 13,000, well, open interest, I should say, and 80 with 17,769. These could have been closed already. We don't really know per se. Always what these numbers mean. Me personally, I don't always know what these numbers mean, but I do know that there's a good amount of people that show some interest in those positions. And like I said, they could have possibly closed those positions. That's how I read that. Other people may read it differently, so that's why I say this is not financial advice. We also have open interest at 20,863 in a 90 strike, which is again where I am. And but for the volume actually in the trade at this moment, based on my understanding of this particular area, there's about 6,100 to 6,200 people in the 95 strike, and there are about 97.5 in the, 3,100 in the 97.5 strike, as well as the 97 and 96. So they're playing it close because of that low of 95 more than likely. And so if one were to go to the call side, you have, as far as open interest, you have about 10,256 individuals that were interested in a 100 strike, and you have about 7,195 volume in that particular strike for Morgan Stanley. So again, numbers are different for individuals. Some of us do calculations differently. Someone may have taught you something different regarding those numbers, and whatever works for you works for you. Whatever works for me works for me. And it does appear to me that Morgan Stanley is trying to make a little comeback here. Appears to be a little bit of sideways trading as far as creating more of a consolidation area here. I mean, some people may see that as a range where you can trade it easily 2 to 3 points, and if you have stock, you can short and run it. Like I said, that's what some people do. It is trading above again the opening range, and it's running, but it has stopped here at about 10:30. Pull back, pull back again, and it's trying to appear to get back to, looks like 98.22, somewhere around that range. Got all this stuff in there. But right now we have a lower high, but we also know that that could change. Still showing some, reasonable movement there. So here we are on the long-term 5-minute chart. So we'll see the trade on the 5-minute as well. And I have a false breakup here. Trade it down and it's trying to recover. And it appears to me it's trying to go back up. But I don't know if there's some resistance here or not. So you have to pay attention to these areas. But like I said, I have a long indication here, and I have a long indication here, and I have a short, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, I have all this stuff. Anyway, but there we go. I have a short here, and now it's giving me a long signal to go up. So we're going to just see how it plays out. But let me get back to the individual thing at hand that I'm really paying more attention to, because that's what I got more of an investment in, is this Bank of America, trying to determine whether or not it is going to um, break on down or just trying to get the breath, as my brother would like to say. It's clearly to me consolidated here, and then we could possibly have a breakdown, as my little indicator stated. Not really sure yet. What I did for my entry is I let it come down, which that was a wonderful pullback that I had from the opening, and I don't know why I didn't play it. So, still a babe in the trades. That's just honestly what that is. Could have played that until I got a long signal. Saw that it was a lower high, so it was a good indication it's going to go down again, and really create another lower high here. But like I said, my settings are not set to catch every move. But this clearly was a lower high, so it traded down again, but it was a higher low. So it's trading up, but again, still having problems getting to that 34.48. And so that is probably why it is pulling back right now. So right here we have a 34.47, then it stopped at a 34.44, 43 here. So we're still having issues in this area. And so we're trying to see, is this going to be a resistance? And then it tries to go back and retest this 34.3 area where it kind of sort of bounced off. I still again have a long signal here. Now I do see that there was a short rotation on this one here, then a long one here, and there's a short entry at 34.37, 38. So we'll see what's going to go on with that. But as you can see, like I said, it's a lot of consolidation going on right here in this area. So again, it could be the foundation to just spring up. We just don't know quite yet. But that is a higher low, but you have to be careful. Even if it appears that it could be breaking down, you have to be mindful of that higher low that is there. Now, if it creates a lower high here, then we could possibly look at, saying, well, something going on there. We have support at 34.2, according to my chart on this 5-minute, and resistance at 35.18. I'm quite sure if you were to put that on a lower time frame or a higher time frame, those numbers would change. We do see some movement, possibly. My indicators are saying 34.33 or 34.43. And then these over here on the 5-minute are saying 34.28 and 34.33. So my long-term chart, which is not really too long-term, the 5-minute is showing that it could trade on down a little lower, not quite to that support area. And My chart over here is giving it half and half. It can trade on down to 34.33, which is in consensus with the 5 minute, but it also could go ahead and try to run back up and go to that 34.43 area where there is a stop loss, which is what normally happens sometimes when they want to just get out of that, break that. What some may call it an order block. I just call it a resistance level at this point. It could be an order block, but I'm not sure. Um, I'm not that advanced in trading to call things exactly as they are. And like I said, I am still learning. This is a process of understanding, but I am holding strong in my put for Bank of America and Morgan Stanley. Today is Tuesday and it's just 12 o'clock. We got almost 3 hours and 50 minutes left of trading. And then we have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So to hold those positions or to let them go if they meet our goal and they're showing no evidence of going back down or up, what have you. So we're playing this by the minute, by the second. I don't want to close out without these day trades, 2 day trades in one day. Because I'm not using TD Ameritrade, I am using Robinhood, and basically with a cash account you can have in Robinhood and in TD Ameritrade. You can trade unlimitedly as long as you have the money to trade. Just understand that the clearing of that particular transaction may take 20, 40, 48 hours, possibly 72 hours. I would give it at least 2 or 3 days. But the very well can happen in 24 hours. But you have to remember that it was a holiday on yesterday, and you don't really know how that's going to throw things off. Like I said, there's a lot of little ins and outs of trading and stuff that one must learn to master it. But once you get to a place of comfort to really understand price action, most people wouldn't have all of this, on their chart. I don't really need all of it. So, I on this side of my screen, I have a totally different study set, and I've added some information off of the left side of the screen to put it on the right side of the screen. However, most experienced traders don't hardly ever utilize indicators. They may use MACD, RSI. Um, and here at my bottom part here, I have a study that I found that pretty much includes all the X amount of oscillators. I'm not going to say all the oscillators, but X amount of oscillators and moving averages to determine whether or not they're in consensus or not. The moving averages are saying right now that there's a strong sell on the 1 minute chart, but I got it based on 5 minute. And when this decides that it wants to load on this right side here, it's going to be on the 30 minute to show whether or not there's some consensus. Let's go to Morgan Stanley to see what the scenario is. News plays a role in trading. I don't really care what the charts are saying. Once news happens, it, for the most part, takes preeminence over the chart because it's going to change based on that information. Depending on what that information is, it doesn't happen always, but a lot of people trade the news. That's what they utilize for understood movement in the market. Okay, we have a lower high here that has come up on my 5 minute and of course on my 1 minute. So we're going to see where that goes as far as chart analysis. A long target of 98.81 and a short target of 95.15. And that's probably why most of the users have there. That's probably right there. I mean, if it gets back to that, that is $3.49, and right now it's 22 cents. So one thing I like to do is look at the high and the low of these various puts, and just to really see what happened. We know this is going to take 50 years to load, so give it some time, you guys. It just literally froze my computer. I thought I had enough memory on my computer, but I clearly don't. I don't have a bunch of programs and stuff up here, but this is a very nice, intricate platform, and it is a great platform. My computer is just not set up for the memory that is required for all the various processes I have. And then I know that some of my studies are pulling the same information, which also affects how things are going. So, I'm sorry, this isn't as clear as other individuals' trades and things are, so that you can see what is going on. So I apologize for that. Just trying to pull it down so you guys can at least get that much. If you guys are interested in a brief usage of TD Ameritrade, what I know how to do, I would be happy to teach you that. I do have a little bit of background in computers, but not like some of these other folks. I do a little bit of programming in the codes of these studies. I wanted to add extra lines and different computations. There are some computations that are just too complicated for me, so I do not do it. But I do a little bit of programming. I was trained in C++, but I always had problems with the part of calling methods or whatever. The concept I think is still there. Like I said, I think a reverse learning type person. I can't create it myself. Deductive reasoning and the other one, whatever. I did some research and all that stuff too. Nonetheless, whatever. You know, I just try to play with it as much as I can, and that's pretty much what trading will do. If you play with trading long enough, I do believe that you would be able to actually understand trading to the extent that it is possible. To learn it to get everything that you need in order for you to be successful. So let's get back to this chart here. Waiting for this one to load up. Click on it one more time and hopefully see what's going to happen here. Okay, but in the meantime, while it is trying to load, again, I still see a lower high and a lower high, but again, still possibility of pulling back here and running up to the area where it came back from. This is where it pivoted from. It pivoted from here, pivoted from there. Once it got in this area where it's green, based on how the programming is for that indicator, they're giving you the possibility that it could run up. Um, Here in this area for the 1 minute chart, it was showing that this would be an area for it to trade down. Now here we are. This particular stock for a long time, back in May, high was $23.22, and the low was not too long ago. So we're gonna just go ahead and put this on. Let's just give it 10 days. 10 minutes. See what it gives you. Maybe that's why it's taking so long for the computation. Okay, we got a higher low signal on the Morgan Stanley here on the 1 minute chart, but we still are on the short here also on the 5 minute. But both of them are giving me short signals, but one is giving me a high low signal and the other one is still at lower high. So it's also giving me a strong buy signal at the 30 minute on my 5 minute, because that's the setting I have at the bottom. The ADX is setting up. ADX trend is weakening. It's going to outperform all across the board. And they're saying that this is going to go back to 98. And they're saying that the anticipated level for both women in 5 minutes, one of the anticipated levels is 97.82, and then another one is saying 98.02, and the other one is saying 97.45, which it technically did go to right at about 51. So we just got a positive signal for it to go to 98.9. So I do have puts, and I'm not going to trade out those puts just yet. Only thing I'm going to do is probably get in a cheaper option for a put for Morgan Stanley to trade it out probably by the end of the week. Now, if I were to go on a higher time frame and see that its overall trend is high, then I wouldn't get in that put. It's just me personally. I would not get in that put based on my opinion that if it's showing a long range of a movement up to the upside on a higher time frame, let's say 10-day, 30 minutes or 1 hour, then I'm going to think twice about that particular trade. But we can see here clearly on the 1 minute chart that it is really trying to get back to this 97.97 area and possibly back to a 98.03. And we could just go back to true highs of today, 98.38. And that is highly possible. It's really not that far away. So I'm just going to watch it. See, this one over here is acting so slow. I'm just going on back to Bank of America right now. Oh, see, look at that. Look at that. As soon as I click on something else, it gets triggered. Okay, moving on. All right, we're going to Bank of America. It's at 34.35. So it is breaking on down more than it was before we left to go see what was happening with Morgan Stanley. Down a little bit. Okay, so having a little trouble getting to a certain level. Some of these are saying 34.33, 34.31, 34.28, and 34.33. And it's really has been at 34.3. Now they're trying to say it's a bear. We have to watch this. Now, for that, Morgan Stanley put the low was 17 cents. Put is at 95 cents. So, half of this on Friday, I guess Thursday, could have been, let's see, Thursday? Nope. Third, every third was on it. High was 9.8. So today we see its low is 0.17 and it's now at 21. Can it get back to that low? We don't know. But let's look at this. We can analyze these stocks just like anything else. You have to see all the various analysis out there, and all these different trading opportunities. Trying to find the best, trade analysis for stock. Which, like I said, it takes studying. Let's see where Morgan Stanley is at now, 97.94. Goes back to 98. Here's Bank of America trying to make a comeback as well. Morgan Stanley is at 97.85, so it must have had a little bit problems in that area. So it looks like Bank of America has broken above. Okay, Bank of America is at 34.4. You're looking at Morgan Stanley at 97.86. And as you can see, um, Morgan Stanley over here, that goes. So the long target for this um, particular put, for Morgan Stanley put at 95 is 70 cents, which would be an almost 48 cent, 47 to 48 cent increase for this, which is a good position. If you can get 5 contracts and make roughly about $50 each, $150 is possible. Again, I'm not telling you to do this. This is just my opinion. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion regarding a financial situation. So again, showing the various movement that this has had over time. It's dropped. It's gone from 17 cents up to 47 cents, back down to about 21 cents, and making its way up. That is not a bad change from where it was. Now, could this go up or lower? Of course, because we don't have crystal balls to know everything that the market is going to do. So here we see that there's a transition going on with the Bank of America. It is trying to break above this area here, 34.5, 34.45, I should say. No, 34.4. Um, so it's at 34.42, and it broke above that. Kind of 34.41. But that seems like there's a delay here on my screen because my thing should be further along than that. And that's another thing, like I said, you've got to make sure you have computer speeds as well as memory to handle um, what the true value of these stocks are, because as you can see, my bars are behind. Let's just go ahead and get out of this. This is just showing you that you can right click on the option chain and do an analysis of that. Let's just go ahead and try to get out of that and hopefully get back to a decent chart that's going to show the right time. Let's go check on Morgan Stanley right now and see what's going on. Mind me, like I said, I am familiar with various things. And got 97.98 pulled back. Could pull back here and then skyrocket past that lower high and get back to the long target. So you still have to watch it, so be careful. It really is a weight. We're at 97.93. Trying to get back up there. So on target is 98.05. We have 98.06, 97.82, and of course over here 97.82. So pretty much in a good consensus. Let's try to go to a 15-minute chart, which is what I normally hopefully it won't take 30 years to go. 34.45 for Bank of America. It is trying its best to get back. Right, looks like Bank of America may clear out this stop loss area of 34.47 and possibly run back up, but we still have to watch this area because it is a notorious pullback area. Okay, we're going 49. A strong buy on the moving averages on the 1 minute chart, but it is not showing any information at all for the 30 minute. It is staying pretty much in between what is actually happening. There could be a good reason for that if it is providing false information regarding what this overall movement will be. That is just saying it hasn't really made up its mind just yet. Um, if you pay attention to the chart, it is showing that it is back at 34.46. Even though my thing is still showing 34.49. So like I said, make sure you are making sure that you are looking at the price and not always just the chart. Because it could be behind, both of them could be behind one way or the other. So consult with other platforms just to make sure that you're not too far behind the trade. I was just more than likely knowing me. I'm just gonna go on Google just to see what's actually really going on. So yeah, my chart is big. Could be because of streaming, but it is having trouble in this area. So you have to watch it carefully. At 34.43 on the chart. Let's see. Refreshing. Wow, look at Morgan Stanley at 98.2. Wow, look at that. Let's check out that analysis there. Higher high. Almost getting into the 98.38 area. Surpass it. 98.41. High. Have a little bit of pullback here. Down. So let's get back. Holding this area here. Down. All right, you guys, I'm going to take a break from this, and we will see probably back in an hour or two how this is going. I hope you are doing good research and learning as much as you can about technical analysis, candles, and all those various things to help you with your analysis. Remember, this is not financial advice, and I'm not responsible for any losses or gains that you may incur for your decision to trade. I do highly recommend you paper trade to get familiar with the trading process. Options, stocks, crypto, anything related to trading is a risk, and I never recommend that you utilize money that you don't need for your well-being. You got $5 or $10 to spare. Always remember that you only risk what you can lose. Always keep in mind the bird in the hand is better than the one in the bush. And as my mom said, you can think about making gravy all you want to, but until you have that chicken and that gravy, it's not right. Anyway, guys, that means basically what could happen, what has happened is not. But like I said, this is not financial advice. Do your research on everything related to trading. And again, take care, trade responsibly when you decide to